There is a strange exhaustion that comes from feeling every mood in the room. Someone gets quiet, and your mind starts searching for what you did wrong. Someone looks disappointed, and your chest tightens before they even speak. You tell yourself you are just being caring, but deep down you are on duty, as if every other person's sadness, anger, and stress has become your job to fix. And the hardest part is this: you may not know who you are when you are not managing everyone else. Maybe it starts with something small. A friend replies with one cold sentence. A parent sighs in the kitchen. Your partner says, "I'm fine," but their face says something else. Suddenly, your mind becomes a detective. You replay your last message. You study their tone. You soften your voice. You apologize before you understand what happened. Not because you are weak, but because your brain has learned that emotional tension is not just uncomfortable, it is dangerous. Over time, this quietly shapes your identity. You become the calm one, the easy one, the person who does not make things harder. You enter a room and read the emotional weather. The more skilled you become at reading people, the more invisible your needs become. You may struggle to make simple decisions, not because you do not know what you want, but because your first question is not, "What do I want?" It is, "How will they feel if I choose this?" This is how responsibility becomes a cage. Sometimes it looks like kindness, sometimes it looks like love. But inside, it feels like you are carrying a glass bowl full of everyone else's feelings. And if something breaks, you blame your hands. Psychology would not call this simply being too nice. It is closer to hyper-responsibility, where your brain overestimates your control over other people's emotional states. It often grows in environments where emotions were unpredictable. Maybe someone's anger filled the whole house. Maybe sadness became a silent punishment. Maybe love felt safer when you were helpful, quiet, impressive, or easy. So your nervous system made a rule. If I can sense the mood early enough, I can prevent the pain. That rule may have helped you survive emotionally. But what helps you survive one season can trap you in the next. And this is the reframe. You are not broken. You are adapted. Your brain learned to protect connection by becoming highly sensitive to emotional signals. That sensitivity is not the enemy. The problem is that your brain started confusing awareness with ownership. You can notice someone's pain, but that does not mean you caused it. You can care about someone's anger, but that does not mean you must absorb it. Here is what is happening underneath. The brain is a prediction machine. It constantly guesses what will happen next so it can keep you safe. If you grew up around emotional unpredictability, your brain may have learned to predict danger from tiny signals: a pause, a look, a door closing harder than usual. Your threat system lights up before your logical mind checks the facts. Then your body prepares you to repair. You explain, you please, you overthink, you become smaller, not because it is the truth, but because your nervous system is trying to reduce uncertainty. Think of it like a smoke alarm. A healthy smoke alarm warns you when there is fire, but a sensitive smoke alarm goes off when someone burns toast. Your emotional alarm may be real, but it may not always be accurate. There is also emotional contagion. Humans naturally pick up signals from each other. A tense face can make your body tense. A sad voice can lower your mood. A sharp tone can raise your heart rate. This is empathy. But without boundaries, empathy becomes emotional merging. Their feeling enters your body, and your brain labels it as your problem. A simple mental model can help. There are 3 circles. The first circle is what you feel. Second circle is what they feel. The third circle is what you can responsibly do. Pain begins when all 3 circles collapse into one. You feel their sadness. You assume it is your fault. Then you try to fix it immediately. Emotional health begins when the circles separate again. The first step is to name whose emotion it is. When someone's mood changes, pause and silently say, "This is their emotion. My job is to notice it, not become it." This works because naming creates distance. It moves your brain from raw alarm into observation. For example, your partner comes home, quiet. Your old pattern says, "They are upset with me." The new pattern says, "I am noticing quietness. I do not yet know what it means." That small sentence protects you from treating a guess like a fact. The second step is to delay the rescue response. When you feel the urge to fix, explain, apologize, or emotionally perform, wait before acting. Even 10 seconds can matter. This gives the planning part of the brain time to come back online. Without that pause, your old survival pattern chooses for you. With the pause, you get a vote. A friend says, "I've had a terrible day." Your automatic response is to solve everything, but instead you ask, "Do you want me to listen? Or do you want help thinking through it?" This keeps you connected, but it does not assume ownership. The third step is to check the evidence before accepting blame. Your brain may offer a fast story. They are upset. It must be me. I need to fix it. But fast stories are not always true stories. Ask yourself 3 questions. What do I know? What am I guessing? What else could explain this? This is cognitive reappraisal. It helps the brain update its interpretation instead of obeying the first fear. Imagine you text someone and they do not reply for hours. Your body says they are angry, but the evidence says they have not replied. They may be busy, tired, or overwhelmed. You do not need to punish yourself before you have information. The fourth step is to offer support with a boundary. A boundary is not emotional coldness. It is the shape that allows care to stay healthy. Without boundaries, care becomes a flood. With boundaries, care becomes a river. You can say, I care about you and I can listen for a while, but I cannot carry this for you. You could say, I understand you are disappointed, but I still need to make this decision. This works because your brain needs repeated experiences where connection survives honesty. Every time you set a calm boundary and the world does not end, your nervous system learns a new prediction. I can be separate and still be safe. And when the guilt rises, return to your body. Feel your feet. Notice your breathing. Ask, what am I feeling that belongs to me? This brings attention back to your internal signals, the brain's sense of the body from the inside. You just need to return to yourself before you abandon yourself. All of this comes back to one simple model. You are not the weather. You are not the storm in someone else's nervous system. You are more like a window. You can notice the rain. You can open gently when it is safe, but you do not have to become the storm to prove you care. People who feel responsible for everyone's emotions often learned that peace had to be earned. They learned to monitor, adjust, repair, and disappear. For a long time, that may have been the safest way to stay connected. But now, your growth is not to stop caring. It is to stop confusing care with self-erasure. You can let someone be disappointed without treating it as an emergency. You can let someone be sad without rushing to become the cure. You can let someone be angry without handing them the keys to your nervous system. And when you stop carrying what was never yours, something quiet returns. Not perfect peace, something simpler, inner space, room to hear your own thoughts, room to ask what you want, room to love people without disappearing inside their emotions. So the next time someone's mood changes and your body rushes to take responsibility, pause, notice the old alarm, respect why it exists. Then remind yourself gently and clearly, I can care about your feelings without becoming responsible for them. That is not distance. That is emotional freedom. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is stay present without picking up what was never yours to carry.